Yo, what up, everyone out there in YouTube land? Grim's on the beat here, and today I'm going to be doing a quick review of two different pairs of headphones. So, first up, the Beyerdynamic DT770 Pros. They are the 80 ohms ones. These come in three different number of ohms or amount of ohms. Once again, this isn't scripted. I'm just sort of doing it on the fly like always. Now, from what I understand, they're basically all fairly similar or fairly the same. The only thing is you want to get the ones that work best with your interface, depending on your headphone output and all that stuff. I recommend talking to a sales engineer at sweetwater.com. Call, don't just order online, and one of their sales engineers will help you out, make sure you get what you need, let them know what interface you have and all that. So the Beyerdynamic DT770 Pros, I hope you can see that. I'm shooting this on my crappy phone. Are closed back headphones. Very comfortable, easy to adjust. They sound great. Really good low end, really good high end. Good for tracking because there's not really any headphone bleed unless you really blast the output on your headphones. But for the most part, I haven't had really any problems with bleed. They sound great. Good for tracking, good for mixing. I've had them for about a year, and I really don't have any complaints. Nice long cord. The only thing I could complain about is the cord is not easily replaceable. Now, if you know a little bit about electronics, I'm sure there's a way to replace the cord, but unlike these other ones, it doesn't just detach and you can't just buy a new one, easily replace it. Other than that, very solid headphones. I would definitely recommend them. Now, these other ones are the AKG K240s. These are semi-open back headphones. I have had these for a long time, over 10 years. They still work. Now, compared to the Beyerdynamic DT770 Pros, the bass response is not as good. There's less bass. If you want to get a good bass response, you need something that really drives the headphones. Great high end, though. Crystal clear high end. Well, I don't know if crystal clear is the right word, but very good high end. These things are workhorses. I've used them for tracking. I've used them for mixing, even though I do prefer to mix on monitors. I have done a decent amount of the mix in these, and then the last little tweaks on my monitors to get the low end right and everything. Since I live in an apartment, sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. And yeah, I've used them for tracking as well. And like I said, I've had them over 10 years. I think I got them in around 2008 or 2009. Something like that. Now, as I mentioned, one thing I really love about these is this cord on it. I am holding my phone with one hand. Okay, so, alright, so I can't detach it with one hand, but you just press a little button on the side and the cord detaches. So if something happens to your cord, you can just detach it, buy a new one, you're good to go. You can replace the ear pads on there, which I've done a couple of times. The only thing I can really say about them is the leather looking stuff on the ear pads rubs off fairly easily. Not sure if it's real leather or not. Actually, no, I'm pretty positive it's not real leather, otherwise it would not rub off. It's a dumb thing to say, but it's staying in there because screw it. Yeah, because real leather is animal skin, and these are not. Still comfortable regardless. For that big of a deal, I'd just buy another new set of ear pads, but hey, they still work. Now, nowadays, I mainly only use these when I have an artist coming in that's going to be doing some tracking, or if I'm, you know, basically doing tracking for someone else, in which case they will be using the Beyerdynamic headphones because closed back, better for tracking, less bleed. And I'll be playing back with these. So yeah, really, the low end on them, like I said, could be better. I wish it were as good as the Beyerdynamic ones, but overall they sound pretty good. Not really any need to adjust them. Honestly, I don't think you really can adjust them. They just automatically adjust to fit your head. I'm not gonna go all into how and all that stuff, but I mean, they are real comfortable. Now, when you record with them, you do have to watch the volume level more than you would with closed back headphones since they are semi open back. You're gonna get more bleed. But, I mean, there's plenty of pro engineers that track with these. You can, watch videos of plenty of your favorite artists recording, and chances are you'll see them wearing a pair of these. And that's not because they're crappy headphones. They're not. They're actually pretty good headphones, and they're a very reasonable price. I think nowadays they are under $100. These ones, the Beyerdynamic ones, are a little bit over 100. Still pretty good price, really good headphones. Can you find cheaper headphones? Of course you can. Now, on these ones, as I mentioned, they have them in different ohms. I have the 80 ohms ones. Pretty sure I could have gone with one with the higher amount of ohms because I have my interface is an Apollo X6. Not a cheap interface by any means. It's one of the best interfaces you can get. So, but the 80 ohms is what my Sweetwater sales engineer recommended, so that's what I went with. Now, there are some slight differences. One of them has the leather ear pads, and then the other two have the velour. I like the velour. Now, if you end up needing to get the ones with the leather, you can find the velour ones, replacement pads, and just buy the replacements for them. And one of them also has a bit of a shorter cord, I think, and one of them has a coiled cord. Could be wrong on the details, but I mean, I got lucky and mine came with the earpads that I wanted and a nice long cord. The cord on these pretty long. Just got it hidden. I mean, yeah. So aside from being replaceable, got pretty damn long cord. Gotta get that back in there. So I mean, either way you go, if you want to get one or both of these headphones, I don't think you can really go wrong. I mean, if you want something with really good bass response and that just overall is a great sounding headphone, I would go with this one. If you have a little bit less money to spend, but you want a good sounding pair of headphones, and bass response is not super high on your list because maybe you don't do hip hop, then these will do the trick. Even if you do want, need really good bass response because you're doing hip hop or R&B or something that has a little bit heavier bass than like rock music, for example. Which, I mean, low end is important in any music, but not all music is really low end heavy. You could always get the AKG ones and use your monitors for the low end. I did that for years. To be honest, when I bought the AKG ones, I really did not know a whole lot about any of this. I was still pretty new. I knew a little bit about recording, but I was still learning. Pretty much got it when I set up my first Pro Tools rig. I had a studio set up before I got these, but I mean, I was still learning. I'm still learning to this day. I just know a whole lot more than I did at that point. Anyway, that's a different discussion. Alright, guys, so I hope this little review helps someone out there. Now, if your budget is really low. You can even find some great headphones at the like $50 price point or cheaper, you know? Spend what you got. Don't break the bank over a pair of headphones. Alright, have a good one.